Everybody. This is Matt, your local friendly gamer. A little bit of an impromptu discussion stream today, 'cause I actually did pay a visit to the Disney 100th anniversary exhibition. Um, it did it. Chicago is indeed one of the cities where the exhibition was taking place. I think it was in the Exhibition Arts Center, if I remember the locale just right. And it was definitely a very good time. I went with my girlfriend. She was actually the one that kind of hinted to me that she really wanted to go because she is a big Disney fan. And I grew up with Disney as well, and there's still a lot of things that I remember very fondly of as far as Disney, and I was able to relive quite a lot of it in the exhibition, as I'm sure the same could be said for my girlfriend Mary as well. I mean, nowadays that admiration and respect for Disney is can be mixed with, little bits of annoyance and even little bits of resentment, depending on what kind of news surrounds them nowadays. But it definitely, uh, it definitely went a lot of way of appreciating a lot of the magic that went into a lot of their creations. From the very early days when Walt Disney, was you know starting up the company together, to where he had to have his few shot in the dark moments from the initial creation of Mickey Mouse to other various things. And even a lot of the stuff that, not only I nostalgically remember due to it being part of the Renaissance era, which is when me and a lot of people grew up, but also even some of, their more modern achievements, whether an agreement can come to or not. There is still plenty of the Disney magic, left to share, despite the fact that, depending on how you talk to, it's either dwindling or just flat out gone. But, they have gone, they have gone a ways to show that about a lot of the work that a lot of people behind Disney Studios put in between their projects, both past and present, and hopefully future. I know when a lot of people talk about Disney nowadays, it's usually in regards to a lot of kind of the misgivings against the corporate entity that is, the Walt Disney Company. Which is, a lot of it can be very justified, especially, given the recent writers and SAG-AFTRA strikes. Disney wasn't really in the best side among other studios like Warner Brothers and Universal. Which, speaking of Universal, I guess I guess we kind of have them to thank for kind of making a bigger jerk out of the Disney company because they apparently were. Or at least the people involved with Universal were responsible for screwing out Walt Disney out of one of his earliest creations, which kind of led to him not only taking his shot in the dark chance with Mickey Mouse and Steamboat Willie, but also being a lot more protective over their creative works. But that's a whole other discussion for another time. Obviously, we want to talk about the exhibition itself. Although, to be fair, that was a point that they made, especially in one of the earliest parts of the exhibition, namely, kind of, the formation of, how Walt formed like his kind of talent for creating animated works. The methods and the imagination he used to come up with the methods for his animated works. Together with his brother Roy Disney, who I think was like the first CEO of the company after Walt Disney's timely passing, if I remember correctly. I know he took over the formation of Walt Disney World after Walt Disney's passing in the mid 1960s, I believe, if I remember correctly. But Yeah, I mean, oh, and I think, sorry, I think I forgot to loop the music. There we go. Let's have that back. But yeah, I mean, it went through a lot of different phases and aspects of the Disney creative process. With each kind of exhibit, like they started with like the formative years of Disney, and then after that they kind of give like a kind of an abridged timeline of everything that kind of went on between the formation of Disney to the present day, and then they sort of categorized everything from this is like the the kind of storytelling aspect. This is the artistic aspect. This is the aspect of like using references from both fairy tales and real life. This is the aspect of like using all of the of like making props and stuff. And there's not only did they have a lot of stuff kind of placed for like, viewing like, any museum would, but they also had a lot of interactive elements. Like they had like a lot of like uh kind of looping videos where you can take like, an earpiece. They had like two just in case if you were with someone to place against your ear. They had some touchscreen areas. They had some photo op areas, and then they also had, stuff like that. And yeah, and I mean, they like estimated like you would spend like 90 minutes throughout the whole exhibit. What actually happened was me and Mary, we really took our time through each exhibit because we were just very fascinated with kind of how everything was, how everything looks and all of like the nice factoids and stuff that we were like roughly only two-thirds through the exhibit when we were told that we only had 40 minutes left before it closed. And I think that's when we were like just in like the music area, which, so unfortunately we had to like sped through like the music area as well as like, the Disney nature area, the Disney park area, and I think like, kind of like a little time capsule of all of the technology, which was definitely a bummer, especially because we don't know if we'll have another chance to visit because it's only available, I think, until early January. And of course, with the holidays and stuff, we have all of our stuff that we got to do in regards to that. So, but for what we were able to experience, we liked it a lot. Um, I mean, even though Mary is the bigger of the Disney fan between the two of us. Like, mine is just sort of like a an more of a appreciation, and low key appreciation and respect because not only did I grew up with Disney like a lot of kids, but also at the same time, like as someone who is also a creative professional, there's a lot of stuff that I can still appreciate Disney for. A lot of the pioneering effects, whether it be animated, 2D animated, 3D animated, hand drawn, computer, even down to like the live action like, and I'm not talking about like taking their anime classics and turning them into live action. I'm talking about when they actually did original live action stuff, which I mean, granted they still do, but you know, a lot of that I can appreciate, Disney for because they definitely if something wasn't possible at the time, Disney always found a way to make it possible, and that kind of philosophy stemmed from Walt Disney himself. And again, as we kind of learned about various things. Obviously, he was by no means a perfect individual himself, but he really did have an endless imagination, and he created content that was made for every he basically set the groundwork for not only a lot of entertain forms of entertainment, but a lot of forms of entertainment that anyone, be it young or old, can enjoy. Because yeah, I mean, even to this day, Mickey Mouse is recognized internationally. Disney has a very large international presence. Like, most people around the world are familiar with, all of the creative works that Disney did. In fact, one of the things that actually kind of really took me, kind of took me aback a little bit was part of the music area. They had like three sets of areas where you can listen to music in different languages. Um, uh, the songs that featured were, I think, "Let It Go" from Frozen. There was like a song in Moana that I can't remember the title of, but I think it was like one of the earliest songs. And then they also had "We Don't Talk About Bruno" from Encanto. Uh, in Moana's case, they had like a kind of like a quick, very seamless kind of stretch of the song in all of the different languages, which I think it was like somewhere between like 60 to 80 different languages that Disney like translates their films for, which is it is an astounding amount. Like I can't even remember like most video games that have that many that have that many localized options. I mean, I know plenty. I know there's a few larger Nintendo games that do, especially when it comes to Pokemon. But yeah, it's like the amount of work that Disney really puts in is crazy. And I mean, it definitely goes unappreciated points as far as both animation and the audio to help bring that animation to life, whether it be voiceover work, sound, Foley, sound effects, live, the orchestra, dedicated to those films that just really makes those things memorable. And definitely one of the selling points of the exhibition was they basically unlocked sections of the quote unquote Disney Vault, and I don't mean just like the Disney Vault of like with the films and stuff. I'm talking about like the actual archives where they brought stuff from the entirety of Disney's history, from props to animation storyboards to those freaking cell animation cells. And a good chunk of those, especially the early ones, had to be restored because they were like because of the good old phrase "nothing lasts forever." That stuff wears down, it wears away. Stuff that was X amount of decades ago. They deteriorate, and of course, with Disney being the large company that it is, they can like oh, sorry, I had to like move a speck from from my screen. I didn't mean to kind of just randomly put my finger there. I am on my iPad again, just for the record. I had to like tear down my streaming setup a bit because I think we're having someone come over to our house to kind of look at a few stuff, and they may have to look at my room, which is not really that much less of a mess than what it was, but I had to make the most of what time I had because I also have to work on stuff. So that's beside the point. But yeah, it definitely was amazing. I mean, I honestly kind of wish that they had like partnership with some like larger museums to kind of show all that stuff, maybe. But I also understand that, especially because I don't really think that they have enough copies to have this going on in multiple cities at the same time. Because I think after this, who knows which city they're going to schedule to go next. And I think they even decided to make some international stops as well, because especially because there's Europe, there's Pacific Asia, um, and all that. So, and wherever Disney feels appropriate to kind of have their uh, have their setup. So, part of me also kind of wishes that for those that aren't able to make it or they don't live anywhere near the locations where they're going to set up the exhibit, that maybe this could easily. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I did get a catalog in addition to a T-shirt. This could be like a documentary series. Especially because they were advertising Disney Plus all over the place because they had like these like little plaques like, hey, all the stuff that in the museum, you can watch at any time with a Disney Plus subscription, which I mean we both already have, so and I'm sure a lot of people that are willing to go already have as well. So yeah, but yeah, they mainly focused on the stuff that centered it on kind of key milestones of Disney's, lifespan. There were Marvel and Star Wars stuff there, but they focused on the stuff that was basically after Disney acquired them. So, with Star Wars, you're seeing most of the sequel trilogy stuff. With Marvel, you're seeing a lot of the cinematic universe stuff, especially like the more recent cinematic universe stuff. But and I know that may not necessarily appeal to everyone, but trust me when I say there is enough for everyone to enjoy, especially because I should stress again, uh, my girlfriend and I, we had to like rush like the last third of our experience just so that we could not only experience everything before we had to be shoot out the door, we also took advantage of the gift shop that was there. That's how I got the t-shirt. That's how I got the book, and I also got a similar T-shirt for my sister as well. Um, I did got myself like a VIP pass because it comes with this nifty collector's pen, and it also comes with a photo op that they put in like a postcard, which they have it like against like a bluish background so that they can like kind of cut us out and put against whatever background we want, and we basically we chose Disney World. Oh, sorry. Yeah. So it's like we went to Disney World. Sorry if it's a little blurred out. It's a glossy paper, but yeah, it was a really fun time. And of course, just to be on the safe side, I limited the amount of pictures I took there as well as Mary because obviously the experience is so that you act if you are able to go you do go you do actually go to like see the stuff and not just take pictures and video all the time except where they have specific photo ops for that because I don't want to follow any sort of copyright. It's bad enough that most of my Kingdom Hearts parts get content ID'd and all that stuff, so I didn't want to poke that. I didn't want to poke that bear. But I also got the exhibition book just because, especially because since we only really had one opportunity to go, um, it basically kind of helps summarize like all of the exhibitions and stuff. Like they even segmented it a lot, like how they segmented their uh, their layout, so to speak. So I am glad that I got this. I mean, my bank account was already hurting, but I figured, it was just some way to kind of have a way of preserving it. They had a lot of other stuff that I was very tempted to get, but I mean, I had to limit myself somewhere, otherwise I would not be able to finish my Christmas shopping, which I still need to do later this week. The holidays are coming up pretty quickly. Uh, but all in all, if you are able to go, and if you were ever a huge fan of Disney at some point, whether it be, the stuff that's been like, the 20s through the 90s, the 2000s, and maybe even the modern stuff, there is something for everyone, and you get to learn stuff that you never thought you knew. I mean, right after I came home, from the exhibition after my girlfriend and I had dinner and I dropped her off. I immediately went to Disney Plus and saw the Mickey documentary. The one where it's solely focused on kind of Mickey, which has a lot of the talking points that the exhibition also had. So it just it was definitely a very good experience. I honestly wish I settled for an earlier time. I didn't. The traffic was actually a lot quicker than I thought it would be because that's kind of what I that was my intention. But it's like I kind of forgot that since we went on a Sunday, they probably had to close it earlier because it was Sunday. So yeah, if there was only regret is that I didn't schedule an early time. But it was an absolute wonderful experience. I loved it. My girlfriend really loved it. And if you ever have the chance, I would say take some time. You could go with a friend, go with family. Definitely keep up with seeing if if it's in a nearby city. But I mean, aside from that, again, I do hope that they do release something on Disney Plus that kind of covers a lot of the stuff that the exhibition did. Because again, not everyone's probably going to be able to see it, you know. But that probably won't happen until like maybe a year or two from now, Uh, and despite how I might feel about the company nowadays, which I mean isn't as harsh as a good chunk of other people. A lot of the criticisms that I might agree with, it's more of a little bit of subdued level, but it really kind of showed it kind of helped remind me of all the stuff that I appreciate, respect, and thankful of what Disney has provided over the past 100 years. And I do hope that that's what they lean more into in the future. I do hope that when we get to a 110, 120, or 125 years, I don't become another scowling, old timey nerd. uh, just because Disney has been hitting all of the wrong nerves. And I mean, and not for I'll give credit for everyone, young and old, that works over there. They are certainly trying. It's always that executive meddling. But that could be said about most other companies, especially entertainment companies. So I can't really pick on Disney exclusively too much for that, especially because, I still like a lot of their stuff, okay? You know, stuff that was originally their stuff and stuff that became their stuff. It's like, I'd be lying to saying that I don't still enjoy, or at the very least respect and appreciate a lot of what I see. So I mean, and of course, this exhibition, was definitely a nice reminder of that. It definitely made me feel like I was, a young kid again that, was excited every time excited for that one trip he made to Disney World, and definitely would, it definitely would make me, definitely make me, definitely, I would definitely be happy if I was a kid and I went to that. It may as well have been like a Disney World trip, a Disney World or Disneyland trip, without it actually being Disney World or Disneyland. Obviously, there's no rides and stuff, but it's like, it has that very nice archivey museum feel, and especially as someone who was a real like studious nerd in whenever I was in school, that was also the part of this. I also kind of invoked those kind of feelings as well, especially since a lot of the stuff that I saw, especially when it came to like a lot of the technical and was stuff that I've learned in the few animation classes that I took in college, because that was part of my that was part of both my concentration in film and game design at the time, is that I also had to take a lot of animation classes, and of course there was a lot of there's a lot of Disney mentioned, there was a lot of Warner Brothers mentioned, and a lot of other stuff too. So yeah, um, but yeah, for anyone in the Chicago area, yeah, I definitely would recommend this as a nice holiday outing, whenever you can. The slots will fill up fast because it's Chicago. It's one of the larger of the U.S. cities, and of course, for those who aren't in Chicago, just keep on the lookout for the Disney 100 exhibition and see if when it will hit your city. and see if you can like set aside some time to go. If you were a Disney fan or what once was a Disney fan, I say it's worth it regardless. Definitely go with friends or with family, and yeah, I'm very glad I had the opportunity to go. And it definitely renewed a lot of more of my positive feelings for Disney, and I hope that stays because all it takes is a news story that will just kind of just rub me the wrong way. It's just, but I'm just trying to be a little less cynical and jaded, in regards to the larger media companies. So I mean, but with all that said, um, you know, I hope everyone have themselves a nice day, a nice afternoon. Hopefully, your holiday planning is going okay. Um, and hopefully, I will get back to streaming as soon as I can get my setup back up. Yeah, it'll be trying to finish Kingdom Hearts. This is the second discussion video which I did in the middle of my Kingdom Hearts playthrough, so that's pretty. And it's both involving Disney in some capacity. So yeah, but with all that said, I hope you all have yourselves a wonderful day. Take care. Maybe watch something on Disney Plus. Who knows? They definitely advertised it a good deal. Via the little placards they have. So but whatever that is, take care.